the world's oldest profession, and here in France, prostitution is provoking an age-old debate. This weekend, the Parliament backed part of a bill that would see criminal responsibility shifted from sex workers to their clients, with fines starting at around €1,500. Supporters hope that punishing the customer and making prostitutes the victims of the sex trade will discourage traffickers and pimps. But critics, on the other hand, argue that legislation will drive prostitutes into the shadows, making their lives even more dangerous. Our reporters went to meet some sex workers to find out what they think of the proposed law.
The 16th arrondissement is Paris's chicest postcode. It's here, at the entrance to the Bois de Boulogne, that Sandra parks her van in the same spot every day. She's been working in what's often called the world's oldest profession for 20 years. Orphaned as a teenager, she juggled various badly paid jobs until she turned to prostitution for the first time at the age of 23.
After I lost my parents, I used to sleep under bridges. I've never wanted anything from anyone. I live my life, I don't ask anything from the state. In fact, I pay my taxes, but I don't get anything back. I don't bother anyone. There are people who ask me how I am, if everything's okay. I'm always fine. I get on well with the police. That's why I defend my job, even if others don't see it as a real profession. Because it's thanks to this profession that I've been able to get on and give my children a better life than I had.
Sandra works alone and only ever during the day. She uses the money she earns to pay for her 2 children's school fees. 80% of her customers are regulars, men of all ages who, like her, know how to get around the potential future law.
Don't tell me that men are going to stop and respect the law. They'll just look around everywhere until they find a girl. And of course, the customers have our phone numbers. If a policeman asks what I'm doing, I'm just having a chat. My van is private property. They can't just come in.
The proposed law has earmarked €20 million a year for programmes that help women to get out of prostitution. But Sandra believes this money would be put to better use in the fight against the trafficking networks, the criminal organisations that enable and sustain the exploitation of foreign girls.
I want the government to fight to take apart the criminal networks and not just to move them elsewhere, because I can't see any way of this proposed law actually helping the girls. They're just going to go to other countries and carry on through the networks. For example, with thefts, the French police work with the Romanian police to find out criminals' true identities. That's what they should do, bring in more foreign police from places with trafficking networks, so that they can work together.
Sandra is in the minority, as 80% of sex workers are foreign nationals. An exotic supply that corresponds with customers' increasingly exotic demands. And when business is good, it's the mafia networks who reap the benefits, something that the clients appear to know all too well.
Not enough's being done to target pimps and sex trafficking networks.
But in paying for sex, aren't you feeding it?
Yes, I suppose I am.
So you're part of it?
Yes, I suppose.
I come once or twice every 3 or 4 months, and I spend 5 minutes, and then it's done, it's over. And it's got nothing to do with my married life, my normal life.
As well as shifting the burden of criminal responsibility to clients, this law also provides for rehabilitation programs for former prostitutes, a provision that would, nonetheless, come too late for Rosen. Fired at 25, she stumbled upon an advert and thought that prostitution would be a well-paid but temporary solution.
For me, it was a way to get out of financial difficulty. I was going to do it for 15 days, 3 weeks, a month, and then the 15 days, 3 weeks, 1 month ended up being 22 years.
Rosen got out of prostitution 3 years ago. She was 54 years old. As someone who used to battle for the freedom of the sex industry, she now fights to denounce it. She supports penalising clients, which she believes would save countless girls from prostitution.
They don't understand. They haven't understood that they're in constant danger. When you first get into prostitution, you have this feeling of euphoria, of power, you've got money, lots of money. And you also think you're very beautiful because of all the men who are coming and paying for you. I've been raped. I've had a gun to my head. I've been robbed, hit, attacked. I've been humiliated, brought down to nothing. And it's the same for all prostitutes. It's not just me. It's the norm.
She now spends her time in schools and community centres like this one in a Paris suburb. Her aim? To take the glamour out of prevailing attitudes towards prostitution.
It doesn't reduce domestic violence or rape. It just makes it worse.
In France, the world's oldest profession is under the spotlight once again. And it could soon be clients, not the prostitutes, who are punished.
Fascinating report there. We will, of course, bring you the latest on that bill when it's voted on later this week. It's time now, though, for a wrap-up of the latest sports action, and we kick off with football.
Zlatan Ibrahimovic scored his 10th and 11th goals of the season, both from penalties, as Ligue 1 leaders PSG hammered Lyon 4-0 on Sunday. PSG stay 4 points clear of Lille, who won by a single goal at Valenciennes. Lille's goal, one of only two, scored away all weekend. Well, after we scored the first goal, we relaxed a little and played good football. It became easier because we've got so much talent in the team, and with our experience, we put in a good performance.
De talent qu'on a dans notre équipe, avec l'expérience qu'on a, voilà, on arrive à faire de très bonnes choses.
I think after 1 year and couple of months, you get to know the team is better, and it's normal that you play better because the more time you spend together, the more time you play together, things goes easier. And this year it's much easier than the last year, but at the same time, this year we are the champions, so everybody wants to be the champions. So we have double pressure on ourselves to become the champions again.
In the Premier League, Wayne Rooney scored twice to help Manchester United stretch their unbeaten run to 12 games in a 2-2 draw at Tottenham. Liverpool upset 3-1 at Hull, who beat the Reds for the very first time. Chelsea beat Southampton 3-1. On Saturday, leaders Arsenal beat Cardiff. In the Netherlands, Peter Bosz and his Vitesse Arnhem team got back to the top of the table by beating Cambuur. Serbian-born Dutchman Marko Vujinovic unleashed a fierce 25-metre shot, which beat goalkeeper Leonard Ninhuis to open the scoring. After the interval, Ghanaian international Christian Atsu sent over a corner. Kelvin Leerdman on hand to knee the ball into the net. The Vitesse Arnhem fans wanted more, and in the final seconds, Georgian forward Georgi Chanturia hit the target to complete a 3-0 victory. Vitesse now 6 unbeaten, they're 2 points clear of Ajax. In Belgium, Standard Liège put a disappointing midweek Europa League performance behind them by thrashing Liège 5-0. Michi Batshuayi opened the scoring after 15 minutes with an acrobatic effort. It wasn't until after the break that the floodgates opened, though. Batshuayi got his second of the game and 11th of the season on 50 minutes. Before turning provider for William Vanker, who put the result beyond doubt as Liège pressed forward, trying to rescue the game. 2 goals in 2 minutes completed the rout, the first coming from Igor Di Camargo, with the home defence stretched. The second from Paul Jose Mpoku. Standard, who went down 2-1 at Esbjerg in midweek, go 4 points clear at the top in Belgium.
Well, that's where we leave it for this slice of Live from Paris. But don't go anywhere. My colleague Stuart Noble will be back after a short break with more international news, including the latest on those escalating demonstrations in Thailand. Do stay tuned.